Welcome everyone to the first session of the 11th edition of PILF. Mugdha ji, I know she read out just a few lines, but actually she's got a 16-page curriculum vitae, and we just couldn't involve that. We need many sessions for that, but she's amazing. And I'm going to start this conversation because this is a very special conversation for me. I'm very privileged to be here because I've seen her in action. You know, she deals with 1,000 people at a time when she does her Lit Fest and her other festivals. She's got this vibrant energy which you have to just watch unfold. She's dealing with 100 problems.
Embarrassing.
No, I'm not. I've seen her in action, and that is why we planned this session, because I wanted everyone to meet her, honestly. So I'm going to start with this. Mugdha ji, I've seen you work. I know that you've done 3 festivals this year, and they're huge. They're not like this. They're much, much huger. And you have the Prime Minister inaugurating it. You have the President inaugurating it. You have this whole bureaucracy behind it. How do you do it? Let's start with that.
So first of all, thank you very much, Manjiri ji, for having me here, and a very, very warm welcome to everyone. Thank you. It's such a beautiful, nice, sunny morning, and my second time in Pune. So extremely humbled and honored and a bit embarrassed with all the introductions. I hope I can live up to everybody's expectations. Events that you mentioned, we did 3 events this year. I'm 1 year old in the Ministry of Culture, Government of India. I'm from the Rajasthan cadre. So, these events for me are just entry points into larger engagement. I see myself as a policy maker. And I find that even events like these enable us to hold conversations, more intimate conversations, which enable me as a policy maker to look at what is the missing gap in policy. What I want to hear different voices. And I want also the vocabulary in the government to change so that we can work not just in the infrastructure ministry, public-private participation, but also in culture. Because there are the 2 theories of culture, whether we own culture or culture grows out of interactions and engagement. So the 3 festivals that we did, basically the International Museum Expo, the Festival of Libraries, where Manjiri ji wrote a mystery novel for one of my libraries. It was a commissioned work. And of course, recently, the India Art, Architecture and Design Biennale, which was inaugurated on the 8th of December by the Honorable Prime Minister, and will be on till the 31st of March. I urge, if anybody is in Delhi, please do have a look. We'll be very, very happy to facilitate your entry in the Red Fort. All these events, and Manjiri ji, because you've been doing the 11th edition now, so you understand how much endless and thankless kind of coordination goes into doing festivals like these. But I get energized simply by being present amidst people. And that gives me a lot of energy. Of course, there's the whole drill, there is a protocol. You reach out to people, you visualize the whole event, you conceptualize. You also see all these events were never done before because we were not really talking to the stakeholders. In the government, I feel we don't know everything. It's very important to learn from the people and what they want. Stepping into people's shoes is very, very important. And I think both poetry and policy making are very similar, because you step into somebody's shoe. My pain becomes your poetry. Your ideas become my policy. That kind of an interaction, I think. Yeah.
But what actually drew you to the civil services? And you know that working in this field is like working in a field of landmines, if I may say that. But so how did you begin? What's your journey like? Please tell us.
So one of the other things that I always want to say, our service has been pretty much glamorized. So the idea is, don't put us on a pedestal. We are just like everybody else. This is livelihood for us, this is life for us, and this is service for me in particular. Since you're into astrology, my midheaven is in Virgo, which is a sign of service. So I love being in service. When my mother has been solely responsible for this journey, because she groomed me. Because the IAS is not just when you take an exam. Clearing an exam is very, very important, and this I say for the children here. You must aspire to do things that resonate with who you are. Just don't go by the glam quotient of things, because this is the skin that you have to wear every day. This is something that you have to like doing. If getting early, getting ready, and just wanting to go to your office, anything, or wanting to go to your art studio, wanting to sit on your desk and write, whatever motivates you and whatever in sync with who you are, that's very important. So it can be the civil service, it can be teaching, it can be writing, it can be a poet, it can be an artist. Don't go by what is the glam, because this world is not, you are not for this world. I mean, your world, it's your life's journey is very, very individualistic. You come alone, you will leave alone, right? So why not live the distance between birth and death also, trying to explore who you are. You have come here for a purpose. One of the purpose of being here is not, see, I got into the service at 24 and a half. I had a life before that. I will retire at 60. I will have a life after that. So livelihood is just a small part of your being. Your being is larger than your job. Don't make it all about the job. Be very passionate about the job, but then also be a little dispassionate. Because you are not the one who's doing everything. There is a designer, there's a policy architect who's making you do. I consider myself as a reed in somebody's hand, and every night when the day is done, I'm like a daily laborer. I feel very happy, I gloat about it, enjoy, but when the day is done, I know that tomorrow is another day, and like a laborer, I have to dig, I have to do the work again. So if you work with that philosophy, things become very, very easy. So in Standard 5, there was an essay which we had to write. What do you want to become in life? And of course, as a 10, 11-year-old child, I went back to my mom and said, what do you think I should write? And she introduced me to the acronym, which is the IES. I had no idea what it meant when I was in Standard 5. But my mother has been into metaphysics. So I think she just made me write something in that essay. And then when I started doing well in school and college, all my peers thought that she had already announced that she wanted to be an IAS. And that's how the circumstances all kind of came together, the big conspiracy that happened, and the divine conspiracy, if I can say, and that's how I'm here. The journey has not been easy, because getting into the exam is easy, but you become an officer only by going through the things after you clear the service. So it's very, very important that if you want to be anything in life, actor, sports star, writer, painter, dancer, then I think you should groom yourselves from day one. Don't wait to be on the stage, because overnight, there's no overnight success. There's 20 years, 30 years, and everybody gets this 5 moments of fame. But you have to work many, many hours to reach that twilight, or whatever, that star-studded night, day in your life. Yeah.
Thank you. That is very inspiring. But what about the challenges you faced? I mean, I know that you've been transferred multiple times because you've always wanted to do something right. So what are the challenges you face in upholding what you believe is right? And how did you overcome them, and how did you face them?
So again, my challenge is specific to the job, some to the life, maybe generic. We all face our own kind of demons in life. Everybody's demons are different, but everybody goes through challenges. So my challenges have also been, but I'm very grateful today when I look back in hindsight, because we all grow wise in hindsight. So I've always been telling myself that no, I need to become more insightful, have more foresight, so I don't have to look back and learn from the lessons. I can already anticipate the lessons, and leaders are made from lessons in life. The more lessons you have in life, the more you are challenged by people, the more people taunt you and say you can't do it. That's my fuel. I have been very, very gracious, and I have been fearless. My mom has taught me one thing: just be fearless. What is yours will come to you. You don't become the iron, she says. You become the magnet, and you will attract everything. There is no competition with anybody then. And then you can be ferocious but graceful even in your intensity. You can have your luminosity, you can be the light and still be intense. The idea is that we work with people, we learn with people, our rough edges get, through attrition, with interactions with people, we become better human beings. I'm very clear, I'm extremely selfish when it comes to that. I am here to learn. And whatever it takes for me to learn, I will learn, because I can't carry any of the material things in life. I can carry on my soul, because my body will be burnt when I die, as Anuji said, we all die. I'm also not looking for people to remember me at all, because when I'm dead, it doesn't bother me. So I'm living in the moment that if you like it, tell me now. If I like something, I'll tell you now, because I don't know whether we'll have this moment in time together again. So I want to live this life. मैं खर्च होके जाना चाहती हूँ like a nimbu. That's my metaphor for my life, because it's a very circular economy metaphor. It's a very sustainable metaphor. That I want to do everything that I have wanted to do here and now, and just forget about it, not think too much. And this is also, Pune is a city of Osho, no? I'm like kind of been very inspired since my childhood by the kind of things he said. And I feel that playfulness, this is God's playtime, and I'm just here to enjoy myself. Work should be fun too. You can do a lot of serious work with a lot of, you don't have to carry that seriousness on your facial expressions. Your cranial matter is enough to carry that seriousness. You are here to just enjoy life, do good, become good, and just no judgmental, you are who you are, people, acceptance, I think. So I think that is what I do in life, and I enjoy, and I know that अगर किसी का पौवा लगाना है तो वो भगवान का solid पौवा है. So whatever I want, I only ask him, and I don't think he's ever denied me anything that I've ever wanted. I try and improve myself so that I can sit here in deep stillness and meditation and see things come to me instead of having to run after things.
Wow. I remember when I came to your office, you've got this beautiful spiritual energy there. You know, there are lights, fairy lights in her office. It's a government office. So when you go there, you see these plants, you see all the pictures on the walls. The entire energy of the office was very, very inspiring. So you think that there is an inspiring, guiding force in your life, because you've gone through a lot in personal life too. So do you think that you've been guided in some way, because you're talking about spirituality?
So I don't think of things, there are no silos. I'm a religious person, I think I'm a spiritual person, but your thinking alone doesn't help, because it's I also don't think in those terms, like whether I'm a religious or a spiritual person. I just like that, also because I've seen always in my life, I have been given very, very dirty offices, right? The moment I step into an office and I find this doesn't resonate with who I am, this doesn't go with my personality, or I can't sit in an office like the way it has been given to me. So when I came here to Government of India from the state, I didn't have an office for the longest time. So I was working from somebody else's office, and then I looked around and scouted a room which was not my level room. But I said, fine, I got a room, it's fine, because I need to start working. And I just had a table in that room. And then I said, okay, wow, it's nice. Because my mom again taught me something. Ki, be very happy when you get Indraprasth. Because then you can make it in your image, the way you think. Because always a blank canvas is always very important. So I'm very happy when I get raw things in life, because then I know how I can build upon them in the manner that I want to do things in my life. So I was very happy that, oh, good, only an empty room with no furniture. So I can order my kind of furniture, I can have my kind of decor in my room, I can do my kind of paint. So it's always an opportunity. So I've started seeing, and see, this doesn't come. So all the children who are listening, this will not happen a moment in time now for you. But if you keep your eyes and your whole being in awareness, then you will be able to pick up these signs and signals in life, and you'll understand. A little bit of wisdom comes with age, but a lot of wisdom comes from your lived experience of life. So when you go through things in your life, just feel very blessed if you're going through struggle, because you are becoming a better person. I mean, I am not here to say that struggles are good. I wish nobody has to go through them. But if you're going through them, just don't live in comparison with the other person कि उसकी life में सब कुछ कितना आसान है, मेरे लिए क्यों difficult है. No. Just keep looking at yourselves and your focus. You should be absolutely selfish about this. This is your life. This is your journey. You can live with people, but it's all about you. I'm not saying that you become selfish and start hoarding things and start becoming selfish in that very materialistic thing, but become selfish so that you can improve yourself. You can become a better person. Only when you invest in yourself can you become available in the true sense for other people. So no philanthropy can happen if you've not worked on yourself. The best gift you can give anybody in life is to work upon yourselves, to make yourselves a better person, because one, as people have said, there are no others in this world. There is no distinction between me and you, us and them. Those things don't exist, at least not in my scheme of things. So I don't know whether this is spirituality or whether this is a way of life, but all I can say is that I have learned everything in life through the lived experience of my life. I don't even want to call it struggles, because today when I look back, I cherish those moments that made me who I am. And I think my mother is absolutely essential to bringing all three of her daughters in the way that she has. She's had a very strict parenting, but she's also been a very, very friendly mom who's never allowed us to like fly too high if we were happy, or go too low in depression if things didn't go well. She was that anchor who ensured that we remain stable. Sthir pragya, she said, which is the Buddhist equivalent of equilibrium. Maintain that stillness, that calmness, because what's meant for you will happen whenever it is to happen in divine timing.
Thank you. So with that, I'm going to come to your book, your poetry book. It's called Postcard Poems. Okay, and I had the opportunity of going through it, and I think I discussed it with her too. It's haiku, but all that you just said is kind of translated into it, and I can even spot a bit of, I don't know, grief of course a bit, and love, lots of it, but also lots of anger and a defiance. I'm going to say this out loud. So I want you to explain to me what is this book about. But before that, there's something, you've defined poetry in a very beautiful way, and I'm going to read that out. This yearning for completion, this striving when it becomes too much to carry all by ourselves, we lay to rest in poetry. I think this is really beautiful. So please tell us about Postcard Poems.
So I've been writing for the longest time, because writing for me is like a pillow I hold very dear, and I don't decide to write. It just happens, and I might be taking a bath and suddenly something will come to me, and then I just try and memorize it so that when I come out of the bath I can just note it down. So in moments on long drives I've written poetry, and I've been writing for the longest time, but the point is that when a single woman like me writes about love and loss, then I get judged by society, because not everybody has at that level of understanding. So for the longest time I've not really wanted to get my poetry out. So I've waited, but then I suppose it was meant to happen at some point in time, and I was also a little more open about being judged. So I brought this out. These are very pithy poems, if I can say, about experiences of my life, which I have just penned down. I don't know, but you're right, you say angry, anger, nobody's ever said that to me, so I am just thinking about it. Yeah. But anger is another form of grief. Like love is also another form of, grief is a measure of love. It's a payment you make for love. So if we invest in something, grief is a payment that you make. But with age, as Anuji also said, you learn from life, you understand that death is a very, very integral part of your being. I lost my father when I was 4. He was a pilot in the Indian Air Force. We lost him in Ladakh. I lost my husband immediately after my marriage, and it was heartbreaking, more heartbreaking for my mother because we are a third generation. We call ourselves the 3G family. My nani lost her husband when she was in her 40s. My mom lost my father when she was 30. I lost my husband when I was 27. So it's been a generation of holding that. Sometimes you have these generational curses and these generational traumas. So somewhere I think that anger, in my younger days, yes, there was anger. Then I channelized it very consciously, and my poetry flows from that. But I think the later year poetry has become a little mellow and little more insightful and little more full of wisdom than anger. So I don't know which ones you read. I will have to ask you.
I almost read them all, but wise certainly, of course.
Yeah, so poetry also, enables you to go through an X-ray vision. So, like things like these. Can I read something?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So there is these are very pithy, short stuff that I have. Maybe I'll read one called Transformation. I held on to the stem while petal by petal the flower was wilting. From withering, spring was born. In healing, I healed. The wound is now a sacred heart. From seeking, Buddha was born.
Some more?
So this is called Bulb. So when I was growing up, we didn't have light in my city. And I have used Petromax lamps and candlelight to do most of my exams. So this is a dedication, an ode to the filament bulb that we had. A 20-watt, blue-eyed filament bulb with its glowing incandescence has the audacity to stand up to a dark, unyielding night, crafting a luminescent halo equal to the ebony moon, absent from the skies. Under its light, I learnt how a tiny source of light devours a mighty night.
Wow, wonderful. I would like to read one too, which is also good. I wrote that down. I didn't put it in the book. It's called Heart versus Mind. My greatest conversations are with my heart. It always stands ground when I'm in two minds. Yeah, I love that because this confusion dilemma is always there, but you know whom to listen to. Would you like to read a couple more, if you don't mind?
So there's an audience of young people. I thought I should do some love poetry for them. No? So I'll read two, which is called What Was I? I never got over any of my loves long after final goodbyes. Memories of our times together cast a shadow. Physics is not the same as chemistry. It tells us shadows require two things, an object and a source of light. I could never configure or say with confidence who was which, what was I.
Lovely.
So there's another one. There are some very sarcastic, witty, repartee kinds of poems also. So this is one called Benefit of Doubt. And I believe this is also my philosophy in life, the benefit of doubt. I give most people the benefit of doubt. To the one who pretended to be and meant nothing, my benefit of doubt, I say, keep the change.
Lovely.
You want some more?
Yeah, a couple more. And then we'll open it to the audience for some questions.
Okay, so this is also about distinction about how people love. There's always this gender differentiation which happens. It's called different strokes. You love hard like brick and mortar, cement and concrete. I love soft like petrichor, aroma of vanilla and feather, touch of all things intangible. You need a cadastral map and compass. All I ever need is a fertile imagination to fall in love. Beautiful. Can I also read some Hindi poems from
Yes, of
another
course.
book of
Yeah.
mine?
Yes.
So I'll read two. I'll read the title poem. It's called Parichय. क्या कहूँ मैं कौन हूँ? एक आग से जन्मी हूँ, एक आग में जाना है। मिट्टी की ज़मीं पर चलती हूँ, मिट्टी के कण सी हवा में उड़ती हूँ, मिट्टी में मिल जाना है। क्या कहूँ मैं कौन हूँ? ख्वाहिशों का पुलिंदा दिखती हूँ, खामोशी का चेहरा रखती हूँ, ना माला जपती हूँ, ना रोज़ा रखती हूँ, इबादत लबों पर सजदे में रहती हूँ। क्या कहूँ मैं कौन हूँ? भट्टी में तप कर पली हूँ, फौलादी इरादे रखती हूँ, मोम का सा दिल है, आँखों से बरसती हूँ। फिरती हूँ जगह जगह पर अपने में रहती हूँ। क्या कहूँ मैं कौन हूँ? सितारों की चमक, सोने की खनक वजूद पर मेरे जचती नहीं। जो रंग तूने भरे अपनी कूंची से, वो रंग इस दुनिया के कहाँ। मंजर सारे देखे, देखूं अब तुझको भी। रेफरेंस टू गॉड। क्या कहूँ मैं कौन हूँ? नित्य दिन चलती हूँ, हर सांस में बढ़ती हूँ, नदी की भांति अविरल बहती हूँ, समंदर सा ठहराव भी तेरी होकर अपनी भी कहाँ हूँ मैं। क्या कहूँ मैं कौन हूँ? माला टूटेगी तो मोती मिलेंगे, एक धागे से जुड़ी थी माँ की कोख में भी। मोती बिखरेंगे तो धागा हाथ आएगा, फिर से मोह जाएगा तू समाएगा। क्या कहूँ मैं कौन हूँ? धरा में धार सी मीरा भी हूँ, राधा भी, शिव की आराध्य भी, नाम से पार्वती का पर्याय भी, शिव हूँ सत्य की खोज में भी। क्या कहूँ मैं कौन हूँ? नाम काम जामा जाम 100 शब्दों में एक ओंकार भी, ध्वनि हूँ प्रतिध्वनि भी, छवि हूँ परछाई भी, बिंदु हूँ निरंकार भी, अर्ध अपने आराध्य की, शून्य भी मैं संपूर्ण भी। क्या कहूँ मैं कौन हूँ? जिज्ञासु भी जानकार भी, अज्ञान हूँ पर अनजान नहीं, शाश्वत हूँ क्योंकि नेस्तो नाबूद से उठी हूँ, पर क्या रखा है कुछ होने में, कुछ पाने में। पा कर खोया है, खो के पाया है, कल्याण तो बस उजड़ के संवरने में। क्या कहूँ मैं कौन हूँ? कर्ण से ढेला, कर्ण से ढेला, ढेले से मिट्टी, मिट्टी से इमारत बने, इमारत से खंडर, खंडर खाक में मिले। क्या कहूँ मैं कौन हूँ? कुम्हार का पहिया, कुम्हार का पहिया निरंतर चले, सब समय का फेरा है, कोई कच्चा घड़ा कोई सुराही बने। क्या कहूँ मैं कौन हूँ? क्या कहूँ मैं कौन हूँ?
Yes, of course.
So this is to all women who have inspired me, and this is also my dying wish. I wrote it many years back, and I dedicate this to my mum and to everybody else. It's called 16 श्रृंगार। मेरे मरने के बाद संपूर्ण संस्कार पूर्ण करना, 16 श्रृंगार से मेरी आखिरी इच्छा का मान रखना, त्वचा पर चंदन का लेप, नेत्रों का दान करना, मुंह में तुलसी और गंगा जल से वरदान देना, हो सके तो मेरा दिल संभाल कर रखना, पर आंसुओं से मेरी आत्मा को बोझिल मत करना, देह के परित्याग में मेरी डोली का साथ देना, खाकसार से फूल चुनकर आकाश में बिखेर देना, मेरे आगमन का न्योता खुशी से रवाना करना, मेरे मरने के बाद संपूर्ण संस्कार पूर्ण करना। जननी की गोद में, जननी की गोद में बेटी सदा पराई, मोह मत करना, घबराना कन्यादान से, अपने आंचल से मुझे आशीर्वाद देना, अपने पिया के घर खुशी से विदा करना, मैं पीछे मुड़कर देखूंगी, मेरे जाने के बाद अफसोस मत करना, मेरे मरने के बाद संपूर्ण संस्कार पूर्ण करना। रिवाज है पीहर आने का, रिवाज है पीहर आने का, मेरा इंतज़ार करना। वादा करती हूँ हर जन्म में तुम्हारी कोख से ममता का कर्ज चुकाऊंगी, धरती का बोझ कहलाने वाली फ़क्र से आसमां का उद्धार कर जाऊंगी। विश्वास रखना हर बार बारंबार बेटी बनकर आऊंगी, बस मेरे मरने के बाद संपूर्ण संस्कार पूर्ण करना।
Very moving, very inspiring. Thank you, Mugdha ji. We will now open it to the audience. Anybody wants to ask questions? Let's start from there. Do we have an extra mic?
I guess I'm audible.
Yeah, no, but come ahead. We'll give you a mic.
So, Mugdha ma'am, really wonderful to hear your poems. Very interesting. And Manjiri, congratulations on the 11th year and all the dignitaries present here, dear students. So, my question to you, ma'am, is like, how does being an IAS, and there are a lot of young students here, so can you just in a nutshell explain the process, how you have been through this journey, so that they also get enlightened and a direction in terms of the preparation what you have done over the years, and how does your day in the office looks like, because it's very interesting, Ministry of Culture, glam. So how does just to give a sneak peek into your space and world. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. So I'll take the latter part of your question, how the day in my life looks like. It's a crazy day, but I like that craziness. The only thing that I do being in the government is I put some method to that madness which happens in my office, because then that allows me to manage my time, to do what I like. I think I always say there are only two issues on which the intergenerational conflict between parents and children happen, which is whom to get married to and what subject to choose, right? These are two conflicts. I can't, of course, look at the whom to get married to, but I can definitely guide you on what subject to choose. Please don't be guided by what is doing well in the world, right? Look at yourself, because if you look at our own ancient traditions of the Gurukul, we have come with a chart, with a natal chart, we have to have an inward focus to understand who you are. If you really want to enjoy your life, you must also enjoy what you do as part of your livelihood. So don't get impressed by the fact that I'm here and I'm an IAS officer. If you don't want to, and if it doesn't resonate with who you are as a person, please do something else which resonates with who you are. Because the ultimate purpose of life is to find the purpose in life. It cannot be, and this is a question I asked long time back, but that is for another conversation. Becoming anything, including an IAS officer, will not come easy. It will come with a lot of dedication, very single-minded focus like Arjun had on the eye of the fish, and also a lot of grooming, and to the parents also. You can't outsource that, that kind of education to the schools alone. You have to spend time with the child in the social media age, in this consumeristic age. You have to sit down, you have to do conversations. I'm so grateful to my mother that I can say that from the smallest age, we treat children as children, but children know their, Keats has said, no, child is the father of man. You become a parent only because you birth a child. Have these very honest conversations with your children about what they want. Listen to them, because that will tell you what your child is inherently capable of. And also, Manjiri will tell you astrologically, if you believe in that as a science, astronomy as a science, please look at your chart and understand where your north node is sitting in your chart. It enables you to understand what you're meant to do in this life. I'm so grateful I had that kind of guidance from my mom, that this is what is destined for me and this is what I will best be happy. This will enable me to grow as a person. So dedication, hard work, integrity, honesty to yourself. And you don't become a doctor only when you clear the MBBS and become a doctor. You become a doctor because you keep that dream in your mind and you work towards. We all work towards becoming something. So dream about what you are and show that you are in alignment with your heart, your mind, your soul is in alignment with what your dreams, your aspirations are. Then work hard to achieve those dreams. You can see YouTube videos on what is the process of the prelim, the mains, and the interview. But the IAS is not just clearing those exams. It is one of the best jobs in the country because there is no monotony. Every day you are doing new things. One day you are in Ministry of Education, then you are in Culture, then you are in Science. There's so much of learning happening in one single job. It is deep specialization. It is too much of generalization. And please read. I am totally made by reading. Reading, provocation, thinking, reflecting, researching, read, research, reflect, then do the same thing over and over again. Consistency of everything is very, very important. And I'm happy to talk to children and guide them. But I think it's not just children alone. It has to be children's and parents who will together make whatever the child wants to become. Because also bringing up a child who's purposeful, who's purposive in life adds so much value to the society. So it's not just by becoming engineers, but also by becoming good teachers, good mentors, good parenting, that you contribute in the making of this nation, I think.
Thank you. There's one more question here. Mr. Natarajan.
Mugdha ma'am, I really love what you said. आपने एक बहुत बढ़िया बात कही कि पौवा लगाना ही है तो भगवान को लगाओ. But you are in a very noble profession. I have a lot of friends in the IAS where you can't completely control your destiny. In the sense, you mentioned it also. And in fact, I have a very good friend in one of the states who was very close to the Dalai Lama. And she actually objected philosophically to something that was being done. And of course got transferred into oblivion. So how do you deal with political masters who might do things that you are not in sync with? Is it anger? Is it sorrow? Is it Buddhist philosophy? How do you deal with it?
Thank you, sir, for your very nice, incisive, thought-provoking question. I have changed a lot since my early days in the service. Early days I had a lot of josh. I now have a lot of hosh. So I think I'm more mindful and I'm more forgiving of people. And I think please don't vilify the politicians. I'm saying that because I've worked in their offices. I've worked closely in several. I was 27 right after my husband's death. I went to the Chief Minister's office and was the first lady, youngest officer, only IAS officer to go there. Worked very closely, saw things for what they were. I had a very, very protected childhood. Didn't come from a village, unfortunately. Didn't see the street life. Then I worked in a union. I was PS to a union minister, worked for 2.5 years, traveled the world. My only condition working with him was that, sir, you will not make a discrimination because I'm a lady in your office. I'll also travel with you. So I was the only lady PS at that time who was traveling with him. So I have seen that politicians, because, it's a very generic thing. I've seen that politicians get humbled every 5 years. They have to keep going back to the same people. They are always holding their hands. They are not the only bad people. It's just that we don't agree to disagree on certain things. That has consequences. I was transferred out of Junjunu because I picked up on a politician. That politician was a 25-year into politics, and after I was transferred out of the district to another bigger, better district, that guy lost all elections for the next so many years. Entire family, he was totally routed out. And the entire district rose, each and every individual of the district rose in rebellion in my favor. The district was shut down. My government had to ask me not to move out of the district till. So I have faced all those kind of things, but irrespective, I still feel that it is my destiny. I cannot have an even keel. The even keel, even in an ECG graph, means that you are dead. I can't stay on the peak all the time. I will have some good days, some good years, some good times, some good times. It's also aligned to how the planets are playing in my chart. So I don't vilify people. I come back and work with them. And so if I can say I belong to the bureaucratic family, sometimes the bureaucrats are worse than the politicians. What they've done to me, even politicians would not dare do to me. So it's not about who does what to you. At this moment in time, at this stage and age in my life, I feel that people do nothing to you. I have no enemies. I don't think anybody is my enemy. I just think that this was meant to be in my life. And there's a very nice story, no? Everybody's read about that story. That there was a man who had a white horse. One day the horse disappears and the village comes and says that, oh, so sad, you lost your horse. He says, I don't know whether it is good or bad. I just know factually that my horse has disappeared. Then the horse comes back with 20,000 other white horses. And the villagers come and tell him, you are so lucky. You've got your horse is a talisman. He's got so many other Arabi ghoras for you. So then he says, well, I don't know whether it is good or bad, but I just know that today I have 21,000 horses. So I have adopted that philosophy in life. So I don't know whether this is good or this is bad. I just know that I am here at the Pune Lit Fest and I'm enjoying myself speaking to all of you. And thank you very much for your presence.
We have time for 2 quick questions. Umaji, you want to ask? Yeah. Let's take the mic. Who has the mic? Okay, you want to ask first. Okay, go ahead. Since the mic is with you, just ask.
Hello, I'm Bipin here. I have a bit longish question, but some of it you already answered. I had been working in government setup as an officer, and I'm a bit of a poet myself as well. These are two, may not be exactly diametrically opposite, but two different personality traits, being an IS officer. How do you, and I would like to generalize the question, as every person, every student, when we go to school, we want to go out and play. We want to do something else and not listen to the teacher. How do you keep these two compartments separate, and how does your poet help in your IS thing, and how does your being an IS does it in your poetry? Because your poetry is so soft and so really emotional that I don't know, I mean, does it bother you in your work?
Yeah, so sometimes I feel that the cruelty of the world can either make you cruel or it can make you kind. So I always believe in the latter, in being kind, because I think kindness is an echo that always comes back to you. So whatever I do, I told you I'm selfish, no? So whatever I do, I know that I want to make this a better world, because when I grow old, it will resonate. If this world is better, I will be able to better negotiate as an old person in this world. So everything that I'm doing, I always think about how it would be if I were in somebody else's shoes, because my shoe has pinched me a lot. So I don't want anybody else to go through it. If I'm there, if I can do something. But it has nothing to do, it's this give and take. There's this give and take. It's not that I'm doing something. Every time something happens through me, it does something to me. And I really want that experience of knowing what it does to me. Because, see, even Einstein was not able to use more than 12% of his brain. I want, मैं खर्च होके जाना चाहती हूँ. So I want to use all of my brain, mind, whatever there is that God has given. I want to use all of my heart till it bursts out. I want to use all of my body. So when I go, I have so much of experience that I'm born with all that experience, and I don't really have to be born if I can just hope that I don't have to come back. But if I do have to come back, I come back more wise from day one of my knowing. So I'm also kind of like in anticipation preparing from the other part of the world. The other thing is I'm very grateful for the service. Because I wouldn't have been this person if it wouldn't be for the service. And I think all the striving that has happened is in preparation for whom I'm meant to be. I don't know what is the next stage of where I go from here, but whatever it is. I love unpredictability, sir. I was not like that. I have come to enjoy it because my thought process is very small, but my creator's thought process about me is very, very magnificent. When I look back, I had such small aspirations in my life. But the kind of striving and the struggles I went through that he made me go through, because he had a bigger picture. So I'm very, very happy about all the unpredictability, all the things that people do to enable my, transition into a higher level of being. So that is what I enjoy. About the poetry bit, sir, just one moment, sorry, I
all right.
meander so much, I realize. I have also written it in the book that I have grown out of writing. My poetry has come from writing a whole lot of sarkari note sheets. So I've been so focused on doing the job that poetry has been like a break, and it's emerged out of doing it. I've never purposefully thought and said, कि okay, 9 baje मैं desk पे बैठूंगी and मैं poetry लिखूंगी. I don't function that way. It just happens. And I love being very busy, and I think my best things have come when I've been pressured, under pressure. When I have very little time, I do the best things when I have very little time, because the lazy people are the best innovators. All the jugaad comes from the laziest person, or a person who's hard pressed for things. So limitations in my life, I always tell in the Sarkar, don't worry about the finances. All my 3 events that I've done, I had no idea where the finance would come from, and I'm very strict in terms that audit bhi nahi hona chahiye baad mein. So rules bhi honge, sab lagenge sarkari rules, but there is no lack. I don't live with that lack mentality. I don't have that lack mentality, and that's the drilling that my mom has given, that if you want, it's like the Rhonda Bryan secret. But my mom has been drilling that in us ever since I was 4. That's her metaphysics. She's a total metaphysics miracle woman. And she's told me, there is no lack. Whatever you want, you will have. If there is a lack, there is only a lack of imagination. If you can imagine, then everything, and the universe has conspired in my life beautifully. Everything that I wanted to do, strangers will come and help. Strange coincidences, miracles, and magic will happen. I'm totally a product of this, of sublimating and surrendering to this universe. Because universe has a beautiful, beautiful plan for me, and I'm just a reed. I just follow the directions that come from where I just am a worker. I just do what I'm told to do, and this is also, I think, the philosophy of the Gita. जो आता जा रहा है वो करते जाओ, पूरी शिद्दत से करो, और फिर भी अर्पण कर दो बाद में जाके कि ये मेरा कुछ नहीं है, because I also don't want the nazar effect to happen, please.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. Just 3 minutes left. The next session has to start. Sorry, Umaji. Yeah, because we'll have to start the next session immediately. That was so inspiring. I want to conclude with a small haiku poem from your collection, which I feel sums you up. Okay? It's called Fated. You may be fated encounter, but you lack ammunition to finish me. And I think that says it all. Mugdha ji, you're the lady at the helm, and I hope and wish you that you continue to stay and inspire people. Stay at the helm, let others be inspired, and wish you all the best. And thank you very much for being at PILF.
Thank you so much, Manjiri ji, and more power to you, because you've got us all here today and enabled us to do this freewheeling conversation and allowed us to meet with such lovely people here. Thank you very much. I'm really honored and grateful and humbled. Thank you everyone in the audience for your presence and attention. I really enjoyed doing this conversation. This is a moment of meditation for me. Thank you very much.